What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my main event breakdown and prediction for UFC Denver. We got Rose Namajunas going against Tracy Cortez. This is a fight that kind of got put together recently. I think about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. It was originally supposed to be Rose Namajunas going against Maycee Barber. Maycee Barber pulls out, and then in steps Tracy Cortez. Cortez was actually supposed to fight next week in the Apex against Miranda Maverick, so Cortez has been training for a fight, but she was training for a fight against Miranda Maverick in the Apex in a 3-round fight. This is a 5-round fight in Denver in elevation, so I think that's very interesting to note. But yeah, gonna break down this fight, talk about it from a betting perspective. We have all the odds out. We got the money line, of course, the totals, the props as well. We'll see if we can find a way to make some money on this main event in Denver. If you guys could, like the video, subscribe to the channel, be on the lookout for the full card breakdown and prediction video for UFC Denver. That'll be out soon here. But yeah, gonna break this down, and we will start on the Rose side, who is 32 years old, 5'5" with a 65-inch reach, 12-6 and 3-2 in her last 5 fights. Tracy Cortez, 30 years old, 5'5" with a 65.5-inch reach, 11-1 and 5-0 in her last 5 fights. Tracy Cortez is undefeated in the UFC. She actually made her debut back in 2019. She's just been very inactive. She had one fight in 2019 in the UFC. She had a fight in 2020, a fight in 2021, a fight in 2022, and then a fight in 2023. And now this is going to be her fight in 2024. So she's fighting about once a year, which is not horribly inactive, but it is, kind of inactive there. She went out there on the Contender Series against Marina Agapova, who's also fighting on the Denver card, and took her to decision. And it's been all decision wins thus far for Tracy Cortez. So, this is the first fight I looked into last week because I was taking a look at the odds, and Cortez at big plus money jumped out to me. And what I needed to confirm was, is this fight 3 rounds or 5 rounds? Because that makes a huge difference to me. Like, if this fight is 3 rounds, I could very easily see Tracy Cortez getting takedowns, being the bigger fighter, being the more natural flyweight, taking Rose down, getting some control time, and edging out 2 out of the 3 rounds. I still think in a 3-round fight, I think it's a very, very, very competitive fight. But yeah, I think if it was 3 rounds, it does help Cortez out quite a bit. And there were conflicting reports. Some people were saying it's a 3-round fight. Some people were saying it's a 5-round fight. But I was able to confirm that it's a 5-round fight. And right then and there, it's like I don't really have much interest in Cortez anymore. I think she can have maybe some success early, but you look through the career of Rose Namajunas. Of course, she is strawweight, fighting up a weight class here. And since coming up a weight class, she hasn't looked bad at all. Against Manon Fiorot, that fight was very, very, very close, which is a good thing. Manon Fiorot is an absolute beast on the feet, and Rose Namajunas, according to the numbers, actually outlanded Manon Fiorot 60-58 in that fight. I thought that fight very well could have went either way. I did score for Fiorot, but the fact that it was that close showed that Rose still has some left in the tank, for sure. And then that performance against Amanda Ribas was very good as well. I thought she looked very good in that fight. Some people thought that Ribas won that fight. I don't know what they're watching. I thought it was pretty clear Rose. 2 judges had it 49-46, and then 1 judge had it 48-47. I thought that was a great performance as well. But Ribas is also very small for the flyweight division. So yeah, in this matchup, obviously on the feet, the better strikers, Rose, and by a pretty decent margin. Tracy Cortez, her striking has came a very long way. Her striking did look career best in her last fight, but her last fight was against Jasmine Jasudavicius, who has, some of the worst striking defense you'll ever see, who absorbs a lot more than she's landing there. So her striking looked good, but it looked good against Jasmine. I don't expect Cortez to have anywhere near as much success in this fight than she did in the striking against Jasmine Jasudavicius. I think Tracy Cortez is absolutely going to need to take this fight down to the mat. And yeah, I think she can. Rose, her takedown defense isn't terrible, but it also isn't amazing. I think that Tracy Cortez can absolutely get takedowns here, but Rose does a very good job at working her way back up. She's very good on the ground in general. We look through her fights, there's not a lot of times where she's really getting held down all that much. Zhang Weili took her down 5 times. In a 25-minute fight, she was only able to control her for 7 minutes. That's Zhang Weili. Her last fight against Amanda Ribas, which was a 25-minute fight, Ribas did take her down 4 times, but Ribas was actually only able to control her for a minute in the 25-minute fight, like a minute in 38 seconds there. So, yes, Cortez can get takedowns, but I'm not convinced she's going to hold Rose down in this matchup. And then, like, what we've been seeing a lot this year is the damage over control, and, you know, Rose is going to be doing the much better work on the feet. So I feel like if a round is close, it's going to be going to, you know, the fighter that's landing more, doing more damage, and that will ultimately be Rose. I think for Cortez to win this fight, she's going to have to take down Rose here and win, obviously, 3 out of the 5 rounds. And I don't know. I really think it's a good spot for Rose here. I know it's hard to trust Rose after the Sparza fight, but since then she's looked really good. Even in the Fiora loss, she looked really good. In the Hebos fight, she looked really good. And like I said, you know, Cortez is coming in here in Denver in elevation on very, very short notice. I don't love that. Rose has been doing her camp, I believe, in Denver. So I like that. It's going to be kind of like a hometown fight for Rose as well. I like that. So yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons to like Rose. You know, she's minus 210 on the money line. Cortez is plus 180. I think a live bet on Rose could be very interesting there, because I think Cortez can win maybe a round or two early, but I think as the fight goes on, it's going to start favoring Rose more and more. I think she's going to become harder and harder to take down, harder and harder to hold down. And like I said, I think the striking, although Cortez has improved, the striking is still, in my opinion, kind of one-way traffic in favor of Rose Namajunas. So I like Rose here, and I like her probably by decision, unless the elevation is going to really affect Cortez here. Maybe Rose can get a late finish. Cortez has one loss. It was by submission, but that submission loss did come a long time ago. I think her submission defense is very good. So yeah, I think this fight more often than not does go the full 25 here. Let's see. Rose opened up minus 110, and she's currently minus 210. And Cortez opened up minus 110. She's currently plus 180. And yeah, I think if this fight was a 3-round fight, I would say these odds should be, you know, much, much closer, because I could make a case for Cortez going out there and laying on Rose for at least 2 out of the 3 rounds. But can she lay on Rose for at least 3 out of the 5? I'm not convinced that's going to happen. So I like Rose here. I'm not sure I love the money line. I'm hoping it keeps coming down throughout the week. Cortez seems to be a very popular dog, but minus 210, maybe even a little wide. Like, I don't know if I like minus 210. The over-under is set at 4.5 rounds. The over 4.5 is minus 280, which is honestly probably correct. Like, we don't really see Cortez finishing any. I mean, I'd be shocked if Cortez finished Rose. I think that's completely off the table. I mean, Cortez couldn't finish Vanessa Mella, Maria Agapova, especially. Like, yeah, I don't see Cortez finishing Rose. I could see Rose maybe locking up a submission later in the fight, maybe landing a big shot later in the fight. Maybe like Rose late props could be interesting. I wanted to see where that Rose 4-5 decision was on FanDuel. They have it. I think they have it on some other books as well. But the Rose Namajunas 4-5 decision is minus 120. I think that's a little bit better than that money line. I don't hate that. But yeah, nothing for me on this fight yet. I'm going to kind of sit back and wait and see where these odds go. Maybe look at the 4-5 decision for Rose. Maybe look at some Rose props, because they are big numbers. Like Rose around 4,200, Rose around 5,200. Those are big numbers. And like I said, Cortez was training for a 3-round fight in the Apex, and now she's coming into Denver on short notice in a 5-round fight. I think that changes up a lot of things. This is Cortez's very first 5-round fight in the UFC, and we know Rose has went 5 rounds many, 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 many times, and she's able to do so. So yeah, give me Rose Namajunas here by decision. And the fact that it is 5 rounds just really boosts my confidence in that pick here. So let me know what you guys have down in the comments. Do you guys like the Rose side, the Cortez side? I don't think I'm laying minus 210 on Rose here. I can't do it. I think that's a little. I can't do it. So maybe it is dog or pass, but I do think Rose gets her hand raised at the end of the day. Live bet on Rose makes a ton of sense to me. Maybe look at Rose after the first round, maybe after the first round and a half, 2 rounds. I don't mind that. Get a better price tag there. So yeah, I think there's some spots sticking out, but nothing like jumping out at this point. So that's all I got, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and be on the lookout for the full card breakdown and prediction video for UFC Denver. We have 11 fights. It's a weird card, but a fun card. Looking forward to breaking it all down. And you guys, best of luck for UFC Denver, and we'll talk to you soon. See ya.